So with everything wrong in this film, it does do something uniquely different to your body at the end of it. My eyebrows were furrowed pretty much through the entire film looking like this, or, or like this, and now I have a pain in the middle of my forehead, which I've never had when watching a film before. So that's different. Alright, let's jump in. When her sister is killed and her double life as a webcam performer is revealed, Grace ignores the warnings of a cool-headed detective and gets involved in the case. When her sister is killed and her double life as a webcam performer is revealed, Grace ignores the warnings of a cool-headed detective and gets involved in the case. Alyssa Milano is the famous writer, and Ed Page is the famous detective, and they are the two main protagonists trying to figure out who killed the sister. That is this film. It's directed by somebody that has directed 2 episodes of Virgin River and a number of other straight-to-TV. And if you're thinking this looks like a Hallmark movie, then I would say this is giving Hallmark a bad name. This is one of those films that end up on TV, that you're watching late at night, you're flicking through the channels, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll just watch a little bit of this, and you fall asleep too and wake up to the end and feel like, why is this film still going on? Why isn't it ended yet? It's also an hour and a half long, but it feels like it's 2.5 hours long. The acting is, for the most part, quite stilted in the way that TV episodes are stilted. The story arc has been done before. If you've ever seen Castle, then you know the kind of plotline we're going for. A writer gets allowed as a consultant because of their expertise in putting together cases because they write so many books. That is the similar formula here. We also have this kind of dominatrix story in the background as to where the killer or killers or person or persons is involved in doing what they're doing. And so there is an air of mystery that the idea of the film is more intriguing than what the film actually ends up being. There's nothing to write home about in the cinematography. The acting is quite bland. It tries to shine a light on certain characters that you think maybe that might be. It doesn't take you long to figure out who actually is the killer or killers. Try not to give away spoilers, but it really, at this point, if you're understanding the persona I'm giving off while having watched this film, then that's why you come to reviewers, right? If for reviewers you trust, and if you've been along the ride with Ruby Tuesday for a while, then you know the sort of films that I like, you know what I review. You also know that I like to give every single film, even if it's a crap film, a chance. And I don't know that there's any piece of this film that I liked enough to warrant me saying to you guys, actually, yes, stick this on. This is worth your time. I would say there are 1,000 other TV, movies, Hallmark type films that are better than this one. The acting isn't like the worst you've ever seen, but it also takes itself very seriously, and it's one of those very serious films that's not so bad that it's good. If you watch like the cornucopia of terrible detective films that are even on Amazon, if you dig into the background, you'll find that there are films there that are terrible but don't take themselves too seriously and then end up being quite fun to watch. Not good in any way, but possible if that's your type of genre that you like to watch. Terrible films, there is a whole kind of calling, there's a cult following of really, really bad films. And I enjoy some of those. Sharknadoes, you know, those type of bad films. Not Snakes on a Train bad, Snakes on a Plane good. If you understand my jest. And this one, I really try to find something that I was liking about the film. And the best thing I can say about this film is there's the potential for a really interesting film. We've seen it done before. It doesn't do anything new in the potential of the storyline or the arc that it wants to get into. But every plot point beat doesn't have a tenseness behind it. When there's meant to be scary moments, you don't feel any tenseness behind it. When there are romantic beats, you kind of sigh, like not even realizing that you're sighing. When there is the realization that this character, well, our writer is ending up being upon the police force, it's not believable how she is allowed to work with them. The writer being in part of the investigation and messing with the investigation before she is allowed to be on that investigation wouldn't happen. There's just so many things that you just like, yeah, I can't with this film. There's so many plot points that you're thinking, I would have done this better. And it's easy for a person to, while watching, be one of those. It's like saying, like a backseat driver, why didn't you take the left? Or if you're not a filmmaker or just a viewer and you're like, I wouldn't have done that, I would have made it this way. It's easy for anybody to say that. But sometimes there are films that you just wish that you could pick up the camera and say, please just give the story time to develop, rather than giving us a plot point and then revealing that plot point and then skipping on to the next. The film is short, but it feels long, but it feels like it needs another hour to develop storylines and give us the mystery that we want, because it goes from plot beats and then goes, no, that's not it, and then moves along very quickly. And it goes to the next bit and goes, no, that's not it, and it moves along very quickly. It's a weird conundrum, because on one hand it feels very long, on the other hand it just feels like it needs more time. The story is stilted, and by the time you get to the end, you are wishing that it's finishing. In fact, within the first 5 minutes, I was wishing this film was editing. So guys, give yourself a break. Don't put this on your list. I hate coming down really hard in the film, but I'm going to give this half a Nicolas Cage out of 5. And the only reason why I'm giving it a half a star is because I've never given a film a 0, and I know how hard it is to make films. I've been involved in making shorts and features, music videos, documentaries, you name it. That is my background. And writing, I am a writer as well. I've written novels, so I understand how hard the creative process is. And for some random 40-year-old dude on the internet going, this is a bad film, that is just my opinion, and maybe you will love this film, but honestly, I thought this film was dire. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.